Union, a place where you belong. Better rates and better service. Ben McKee, Brad Matthews, Jason Swain here in the Low T Center Studios. 865-250-5503 is our number to the Iris Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com. All right, guys. Kind of teased it before the top of our break, but Jalen Wright will be breakout freshman 2021 for the Tennessee Volunteers, touchdown or turnover.
I mean, I gave my answer. Mine's a turnover. I don't think Tennessee will have a breakout freshman. That doesn't mean that I don't think that any freshman will not contribute. I think guys will chip in here and there. I just don't think they'll chip in to the point to where we'll look back on the season and think, wow, that guy had a breakout season. So I say turnover.
I say turnover as well. It's going to be JT Carver, boys. I'm sticking with the place kicker. He's going to win the battle. If not in spring ball, he's going to win it in fall camp. He's going to come through. True freshman in Neyland. We'll have more bodies in there. He won't get rattled. He's going to stay true. And it may not be your typical meaning impact freshman, but he's going to have an impact every single game by putting it through the uprights. So turnover.
If he wins the job and he's the guy, then he'll have opportunities, that's for sure.
Well, yours would be a touchdown then, because you think there will be a breakout,
I thought he said...
Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Jalen Wright. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Good.
I'm going touchdown, man. I think when you are flashing and being consistent, and we talked to Austin Price yesterday at VolQuest.com, asked him if there was an MVP of the spring, who would it be thus far? After hemming and hawing and thinking about it and praying on it, and he finally said Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright has been out because of, injuries and a little bump of bruise here. So he hasn't practiced consistently. He hasn't practiced every single practice, but when he has practiced, he has flashed. And the eye in the sky don't lie. If you're doing it in practice, you're being consistent in practice, chances are you're going to do it in the game. In most cases, you do have guys that light it up in practice and they get into the game and it just doesn't translate. And then you have guys that don't do it in practice and they do it in the games. But in most cases, what you do on the practice field is what you're going to do on the game field. When I think about breakout freshmen, I'm not thinking about a player on the team that will break out versus everybody else who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors. I'm thinking about the player in the freshman class that will break out more than the other freshmen. So when I think of breakout freshman, I'm thinking about the guy or guys, it could be 1, 2, 3 freshmen that stands out and contributes and makes an impact on the football team. And it could be one play. I mean, we remember Ramel Keaton made a big time play as a true freshman. That's a big time play that helps your team win. So I think Jalen Wright's going to have more opportunities to do that because he's a running back. As long as he can pass protect, he'll get more opportunities. But he's going to get opportunities just to run the football.
You think over Tyon and Jabari?
He's going to get opportunities, man. You got to rotate guys. You got to rotate guys in and running back. I think he's going to be on the top 3. Yeah. If he's in the top 3, he's going to get opportunities.
I think there's a solid chance that he is in the top 3. I don't think that's.
And running backs get nicked up too, Ben.
I know. But even like last year, like getting nicked up, like Tennessee stayed fairly healthy at running back. And, Jabari Small only had one game where he was like truly a significant contributor, and that was the game in which Ty Chandler was nicked up, and he kind of filled that number 2 role. I think if I remember correctly, it was the Arkansas game where he came in and had some really good runs. But to me, like, I'll push back on you a little bit. Like, I don't think one play that like Ramel Keaton had as a freshman, I don't think that indicates a breakout season.
No, I just mentioned that play. A freshman making a play. In a big time game where it's something on the line. Jalen Wright, because he plays running back and not receiver, I think he's going to have more opportunities to do that. And so I'm not comparing Jalen Wright to the rest of the team. I'm just comparing him to the freshman class. Who's going to have the most impact from that freshman class. And right now, man, all signs for me point to Jalen Wright over anybody else.
I don't think he'll get as many opportunities to have a breakout season, to have a complete season of which he is like a true contributor, like a Jalen Hyatt was last year. I don't see that with Jalen Wright because
I didn't get as many as he didn't get as much.
But that wasn't on him. That was on the coaching staff. That was on the coaching staff. I feel like when Jalen Hyatt was provided opportunities, he made the most of them. I mean, he did make the All-SEC freshman team, if I remember correctly. I just think Jalen Wright won't get those same opportunities as a Jalen Hyatt, even despite what you said about running backs getting nicked up. I just don't see him having the amount of carries when he's going to be behind the two that I continue to mention, Jabari Small and Tyon Evans. And then also, like, are we just forgetting about D. Beckwith? D. Beckwith going to be 4. Like, it's hard for me to believe, like, a freak athlete in D. Beckwith, just as simple as a good football player. I mean, that's what D. Beckwith is. Who knows how good of a running back he will be or if he'll stick at running back. But at the end of the day, he's just a good football player who you have to find a way to get on the field. I don't care how you get D. Beckwith on the field, get him on the field.
Let me ask you this.
So that's another guy that Jalen's going to be competing with for opportunities.
Who are 2 backs that you think will be in front of Jalen Wright?
Jabari Small and Tyon Evans.
Has Jabari Small been healthy the entire spring?
Well, as Austin alluded to, it was out of his control why he missed the last 2 practices.
Has Tyon Evans been healthy the entire spring?
No.
So you mentioned Eric Gray and Ty Chandler. Mm-hmm. Those guys have been durable. You know, times that they missed last year, we know contact tracing was the reason why, and contact tracing is continuing to play a part in guys missing practice. That's the case with Jabari Small. When you're getting ready to increase all these plays offensively, that means more opportunities for running backs, offensive players. And it takes one guy to be ahead of you to get banged up at running back. And then, dude, boom, you in the rotation, man, 10, 15 carries. And this spread offense, up-tempo offense, it's not we're going to pass the ball 50 times. It's we're going to run a bunch of plays, but we are going to be balanced and we're going to run the football. And so I look at opportunities for Jalen right there. Now, I'm surprised, Ben, that you did not mention this. I'm surprised you did not mention this and you let this slip past your fingers.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Ben, Brad, you mentioned something about Jalen Wright being really fast, right?
He's quick.
You mentioned his 100-meter, right?
10.85.
That's pretty fast, right?
That's
pretty
moving.
fast.
Something like that.
Why would you not have a guy like that on special teams?
Because you have Velus Jones.
Oh, he's the only dude you're going to put on special teams?
You can't go there. You can't go there with me. You can't go with me. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. We talked about this like last week, how I think Jalen Wright and Velus will be back there. We've had this conversation. I think Jalen will be back there.
You can only make an impact on special teams if you're returning punts?
Who knows if he will return punts? I view him as a kick returner.
He can only make an impact on special teams if he's doing punt returning and kick returning? Can he not be a gunner?
I mean, he can, but we're not talking that. Being a good gunner as a freshman does not equal breakout freshman season.
It means impacting as a freshman. If you force fair catches every time, that's impactful, Ben.
Absolutely.
The team doesn't return punts.
That's
Absolutely.
a good one.
But
you missed it, Ben. You're a special teams guru, and you missed it. Just admit it.
That's a good one.
You missed it. I got you, Ben.
Somebody who is only having an impact as a gunner is not the equivalent of a breakout freshman season.
I would agree, but it is an impact.
I'm not disagreeing with, but that's not the conversation we're having. We're having a breakout freshman season, somebody who only impacts as a gunner, who is a running back.
Plus running back.
Now, if he's gunner and he forces 4 fumbles on punt team, and like what's the movie with the guy who was with the Eagles and he tried what was that movie? Invincible. If he's like that dude from Invincible and goes down and forces a couple fumbles and picks it up and returns it for a touchdown, all right, then cool. But like
Marky classic.
Jimmy Holiday had that type of impact last season. Did he have a breakout freshman season last year?
He had an impactful.
Yes, but that's not the conversation we're having. We're talking breakout freshman season, being good on.
So your definition of breakout is different from mine. You looking at stats like
not just mine. It's like everybody's definition.
You looking at yards and things like that.
Is he going to make the all freshman team
as a coach?
As a gunner,
as a coach that looks at every single play in a football game every single play helps you win or lose. And you can't sit here and tell me that if you put Jalen Wright as a gunner and every single time he goes down the football field because he's so fast and no one can block him, he's forcing a fair catch. You don't think that's going to help that defense that's going to be struggling with field position?
I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm not disagreeing at all
That's
with
a
what
solid
you're saying.
impact.
I'm just saying when people have a breakout season conversation
As a freshman.
they're not talking about
They
this.
should be. That's what I'm saying.
I won't disagree with you there, but like Brad was just saying a moment ago, when people talk about breakout season, they're talking about rushing yards or receiving touchdowns, receptions.
I thought they were talking about a football player.
No, I mean
The definition of
talking about a
breakout
football player.
season: a sudden or dramatic improvement or increase in popularity, characterized by a sudden significant improvement or increase in popularity. A ball player having a breakout season, a band with a breakout album.
Is that on Reddit? If it's not, then it's not the true definition.
Listen, man, you take a football player on this team, and he is showing up on the film in multiple ways. He's making winning plays. I'm sorry, that's impactful. That's a breakout. That's breaking out, because a breakout means that you're new on the scene. Breakout, you've not played yet in college, so you're breaking out.
Correct.
And so you say that for a freshman coming in, or maybe a JUCO player, that's entering, D1. Breakout means you haven't done it yet, and you're bursting on the scene. You're breaking on the scene. So I look at a Jalen Wright combination of him playing running back, that his speed, and it's not like we have a ton of speed on this in this program.
No, that's true.
The past coaching staff, their number one priority when they took over the job was to add speed. You're doing that with a guy that doesn't grow on trees. He's a 10-something track, 100-meter guy.
Yeah.
And so
The gunner position is definitely a huge impact. That's a great nugget you found. But I would think you would need addition with the special team, whether it's punt or kick returns, or some impact in the 2, 3, 4 deep at running back, all encompassing to be a breakout season.
So who's yours though, Ben? Who's your freshman impact?
I told you,
breakout.
I don't think there will be one.
It has to be one, Ben.
No, because
somebody has to step up.
The public's conversation.
I don't care about the public. I don't know yours.
But that's where the conversation
I
generated
want
from.
Your breakout. I don't give a damn about the public's
I don't think
definition.
I don't think that, to me, a breakout season is somebody who had a drastic impact on the football team. That is my personal definition. That is what I think of when I hear breakout. Somebody who had a drastic impact on the team, on the season. Okay. I don't think Tennessee has a freshman that will have a drastic impact on this football team.
So you don't think that a freshman making a play on third down and that play helping that team win a game is drastic?
That's not a season. That is one play. They're not having a drastic season. They're not having a breakout season. One play doesn't equal a season. Like, I think there will be. I said earlier in the show, earlier this hour, or kind of as we were teasing it before we went to break. Like, I think Jalen Wright will contribute here and there. I think there will be other guys that contribute here and there, but I don't think somebody's going to have a season full of just where they are a constant contributor. I don't think that Tennessee has a freshman that's going to do that.
Let's go to the phones.
We've got Dave Toner.
Dave Toner, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What's up?
Pep, pep.
Another day in paradise. So we talking about breakout seasons, huh?
For freshmen.
Yeah. Who's gonna have a breakout? Who's gonna be a breakout freshman this season?
Oh, well, I want to change it a little bit and say, okay, who's going to have a breakout season as a veteran?
No.
Mitchell
We're talking
Trubisky
freshman.
or Andy Dalton.
We're talking freshman, Daytona. Freshman breakout.
Mitchell Trubisky or Andy Dalton.
Freshman breakout. That's the conversation, Daytona.
Okay, well, I just changed the game. I just changed the game.
We're not changing the game.
I just did. Who's going to have a breakout season for veterans?
Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky or Andy Dalton?
Trubisky.
I'm just curious.
You're trolling. You're instigating.
Who, me?
Yes, you. What do you mean, who?
Yeah,
me?
I know.
Yes,
I
you.
Who?
I
me?
told,
Yes, you.
Ain't no damn owls in here. Who?
Hey,
Who?
I told you when you answered the phone, I said, I ain't liking this tag team they're doing against you, buddy. I got it.
Ain't no tag team. Bry's not even
Man,
on the side. He's playing. He's in the middle.
Yeah,
listen, Jason Swain / Instigator Man.
To break.
Daytona, what you talking about over there, man? What you got in your coffee this morning?
I don't drink coffee, sir.
What are you drinking this morning, sir?
What do you drink in the morning
I'm
to get
not drinking
going?
anything.
What are you taking this morning? What have you ingested this morning?
Monsters.
What have you put in your body this morning, Daytona?
What have I put in my body? Actually, nothing, and I need to, so that's why I'm at the convenience store.
That's why he is the way that he is. He hasn't eaten yet.
Yeah, that's why I am the way I am. I am the way I am because that's how God made me. Thank you. Guys, I just wanted to aggravate a little bit. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
See you, man.
Mission accomplished.
Every year, there's a freshman that's going to, and they might not do it consistently because we got sophomores, juniors, and seniors that don't do it consistently. The guys who do it consistently every single season, those guys end up on all SEC teams. Mm-hmm. Those guys are the ones that have a chance to play at the next level. So,
I got an honorable mention that it may not be this year, but I think it's in the near future. William Parker.
Yeah,
I like his potential. I like his upside a lot.
Yeah.
He's going to be good at some point, but he just lost his dad.
He did, and there's a lot of good bodies ahead of him, so he's got some things to figure out. It's his true freshman season, so along with that family loss, I mean, there's a lot of soul-searching going on, but his potential, his game, I really like the upside with William Parker.
It is, and Glenn Ellerby talked about him because I asked about him yesterday along with Cooper Mays and Javonte Spraggins. Said that William hasn't made as big of a jump. It's hard when you first come in, but what an unbelievable kid and a great human being. He plays freaky fast, like freaky fast. He is just raw to the game. He just has to learn what to do, how to do it, but the fact that he plays so fast when the ball is snapped, he'll be just fine.
Couldn't imagine losing your mom or your pops, man. At this stage of the game where you're making one of the biggest transitions in your life, man, going from high school to college, going off for the first time, being away from home. And these next 4 years is going to set you up for the next 40, if not longer. And you're losing, your number one fan, man. That's tough.
Yeah,
that is tough.
He was working at right tackle yesterday. And that right tackle position is pretty busy right now. Cade Mays, Darnell Wright, R.J. Perry, William Parker, and like that. Like I think William Parker is going to be a good football player for Tennessee, if not great football player for Tennessee. He legitimately picked Tennessee over Nick Saban. Nick Saban wanted him desperately, but he's just not going to get an opportunity as a freshman. And like when I think of breakout freshmen, I think of Henry To'oTo'o. Henry To'oTo'o had a breakout freshman season.
And that's why I said with Parker, maybe not now, but I see it coming.
And I don't see a current freshman having a Henry To'oTo'o type of season for Tennessee this year.
You think because you mentioned Henry To'oTo'o, he started, he made some plays, and yeah, he is one. He is a breakout, but you don't have to start. Like, you don't have to start
correct
to have a breakout freshman year. Mm-hmm. Henry was the best freshman out of that class, but you don't have to start to have a breakout year if you're making plays in different parts of the game in big games. You cannot be a starter and still impact and break out. That's all I'm saying. That's the difference, I think, between me and Ben. I'll look at a guy being on special teams and force fair catches every single punt, and I know how big that is because I've sat in those special teams rooms with Steve Caldwell, and before getting here, I didn't understand how big of a play that was. It is a huge play, and it may not seem like it on the surface because it's not in the stat sheet. It's like taking charges. There's no official stat for that in basketball. But when you go and you look, oh man, this dude took 3 charges in the basketball game, and one was in the last 60 seconds of a game, and that was the possession that helped you win. you're gonna look at that and go, oh yeah, those are winning plays, even though it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. So that's how I'm looking at a guy like Jalen Wright versus Henry Toll type of impact breakout. You can win games with guys making plays here and there as a freshman, and they don't have to be quote unquote starters. But it's a great conversation. I will disagree with Ben on this. I think there will be a breakout freshman. It may not be Jalen Wright, but I think somebody's gonna step up. If you're Josh Heupel, you have a new team. Recruiting is gonna be your hardest thing here. Without NCAA sanctions, with them it's going to be even harder. What's one way that you can recruit? You got to play freshmen. You got to play freshmen. So those guys don't have opportunities. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how it plays out. Good conversation. Swain event fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Taking guesses. The Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
It's a new season, which means it's time to rep your team in new ways with gear from Game Time Sidekicks. Rep the Vols with every sip with a new tie-dye tumbler or bottle. They also have a new NFL Players Association product line, so you can support your favorite VFL on Sundays. Want to put your own flair on a tumbler? Game Time Sidekicks has you covered with options to add your own text or even a monogram on the back of your favorite team tumbler. To check out everything that Game Time Sidekicks has to offer, go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Carry your team with Game Time Sidekicks.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Let's go to the Iris Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business, fiber, internet, and voice. Follow them on Twitter at Iris Networks USA. Their telephone number is 448-865, by the way, 865 area code, 448-4747. Reliable, local, high-quality business, fiber, internet, and voice. Again, irisnetworksusa.com. Justin in Atlanta. Justin, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Wonderful, wonderful, man. We got Brad in the building today. It's a good day.
Well, hopefully your view is as good as mine. Swain, your show is international today. I'm calling from Turks and Caicos.
Oh, wow.
I'm sitting in a hammock right now overlooking the ocean. It is a beautiful morning.
You got some jealous folks here on the show, man.
Where are you again?
Yeah.
Turks and Caicos.
Well, you know what? Turks and Caicos has nothing
But,
on the mountains of East Tennessee, okay?
Yeah, I know. I'll make some of you even more jealous. Hey, who's in first place in the East in the majors right now? Is it Boston? How's New York doing?
It's the Red Sox, man.
Oh, AL East. Okay, yeah, here we go.
So you're from
Yeah.
Atlanta, and you root for the Red Sox.
Well, technically, I was born and raised in Boston, so
Okay.
I'm Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins,
So you're a
whole
bum.
9 yards.
Dog. Goodness gracious.
Yep, a
kidding.
bum with a lot of
I'm
championships
kidding.
and a lot
I'm
of
kidding.
different
I'm
sports.
kidding. So
That's all good, man.
Are you
All
gonna
right.
are you gonna print
Breakout
the April
freshman.
championship
Here's the
T-shirts?
name. Yeah, exactly. Here's a name for you guys that I think no one's talking about, and if you look at the position group, I think it makes sense. My breakout candidate is going to be Christian Charles.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because corner, we are really, really, really thin. I know he's a freshman, and I know it's tough for a cornerback to make an impact as a freshman, but I think out of sheer numbers, you got three guys ahead of him, Alante Taylor, Kenneth George, and Warren Burrell. And Warren Burrell, I hope, finds a way to stay healthy, but he's yet to do it. And even Kenneth George has been banged up some. Christian Charles was, I think he played quarterback some in high school. He's a really, really smart guy, really good speed, good frame.
That's a good one.
I think he's going to be one that surprises and could be that breakout freshman. I love Jalen Wright. I just think he's got a lot of people ahead of him, and they'll use Jalen Wright, I agree, on special teams and in maybe certain situations in the backfield, but I just don't know if he's going to get consistent touches to be that breakout. But I think Christian Charles might find himself probably having to start some games at some point.
What if I were to tell you that Christian Charles has been working at safety?
Well, that would definitely change something because the safety position's a little bit deeper.
Yes.
I just know from a depth standpoint, we are really, really thin at corner.
Yeah.
And maybe you put one of those guys who was at safety before, you roll them in a star. You know, they have an understanding of SEC football, and they should be able to tackle if they play safeties because safeties are kind of bred to tackle and corners are bred to cover. And so maybe you move one of those athletic safeties as you're shuffling around. You know, Willie Martinez has a ton of experience, and a guy like Rashawn Golden, remember, at one point was playing corner.
Yeah.
He's playing corner and played safety, came into safety, played corner, and then settled in at nickel, and that's what got him drafted. So, you know, you got Willie Martinez back there, expect some movement possibly, and if a guy like Charles is working at safety, maybe one of the veteran safeties, man, maybe working in a different position, especially when you're in 5 and 6 DB sets defensively.
Who do you see dropping down?
Well, I can tell you right now, Jalen McCullough's been working at nickel, so that opens up a
There
spot,
it is.
and maybe
We already talked about
Christian
his
Charles
position
slides in.
change.
Mhm.
I was
There it
thinking
is.
something different, but I was also looking at Trayvon Flowers.
I like Flowers. As a safety because he got great ball skills. They can cover. I like Jalen McCullough more in the box and tackling.
Yes.
Not as a linebacker. I don't think.
I said if you were desperate. I said if you were desperate. This is why you were gone. And Ben and I were trying to steer the ship.
No, I heard y'all had a good time, man. It's okay. You can say it.
No, it was great.
It's okay.
But I was thinking if anybody could drop down, I could see Jalen McCullough dropping down and playing emergency linebacker reps if need be.
No, Brett, it's okay, man. You can let the world know y'all had fun when I was gone. It's okay. It's not gonna make me feel bad. You know, when you're hanging out with your boys and you come home and your wife is like, "How was it?" You're supposed to say it was terrible, it was bad.
I miss you.
You're not supposed to say you're having a good time because then they'll be mad at you.
Yeah,
they'll be mad at you if you had a good time hanging out with your boys. You didn't have a good time with me.
Hey, Swain.
That's what they do. Yes, sir.
When he shows up on campus, does anyone have any idea where Cayman Marley is going to play? Because I think he played darn near every position on the defense outside of nose when he was in high school. Any idea where he might get slated? Because he's another one that offers a lot of flexibility.
He did a little bit of everything right there for North Carolina,
and on offense.
He played a little running back, a little linebacker,
receiver.
Yeah, he did a little bit of everything, man. He was kind of like D. Beck with him. That's a good question. I'm not really sure where they settle him in at. I know where he's needed.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Not at running back.
No, linebacker.
Exactly.
Yeah, why would you put him at running back when you have SEC Freshman of the Year Jalen Wright back there?
See there. I hope he.
You know, maybe Jalen Wright will be so great as a gunner that they will create an SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. Oh wait, they already have one. Maybe Jalen Wright will win it, or maybe they'll create SEC Gunner of the Year, and Jalen Wright will win that award.
Separate.
Hey man, Ben is doing what C-Mac is doing. He's just showing his disrespect for special teams and how important it is in winning games. That's all he's doing. There ain't no shade over here. I don't feel it. It's nice and sunny over here, man. Lights are bright. No shade. I feel no shade.
Where's Tamarion going to play?
Safety.
Throw some weight on him.
Hey, that's what
Hey.
He may start at safety, but man, I've seen many dudes come in at safety. Thanks for the phone call, Justin. And end up at linebacker like a Ryan Carl.
I don't think Tamarion McDonald they may move
Ryan Carl, didn't you?
To linebacker, but I mean he's getting pretty good run at safety right now. If I were him, I would not want to move.
Listen.
Because he's a guy that when McCullough slides down to nickel, they put him at safety.
Somebody going to have to get in that box and tackle. And there's going to be a need. So it may come from safety. It may come from running back. Somebody going to be in that box if they want to play. It's an opportunity.
Likes to hit.
It's an opportunity. But we'll let it play out. Let's see who is next on the hotline. Stan, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up, Stan? How you doing, man?
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I got a question here. You know, you're hearing a lot about Hendon Hooker may be the steady Eddie at quarterback, and he doesn't stretch the field as much. What about a guy like, heard his name the other day? Of course, I don't see practice, so I don't know how he's working in, but Walker Merrill that came in with a lot of speed and good hands, if he winds up getting a little spot at slot or something, and I think he'll get more touches than a running back, and he might be the breakout player. And the second question I had was, if, you know, I went back and watched a lot of games of UFC last year, UCF last year, and watched their offense and really loved it. But in the games that they dropped, it seemed like it always came down to getting inside the 10-yard line and not having the quarterback under center. And then later on in the season, they wound up putting a lineman at fullback and handing it off to him and going under center. Do you see that as a problem? Of course, you've been in the pros, and you've been in the pistol, you've been in the gun. You see how that works inside the 10. Does that concern you at all that, you know, we're back in an offense where we don't have a quarterback under center inside the red zone tight like inside the 10?
No, I mean, I think it depends on the situation. When you look at a play and, you know, a guy's in shotgun and it's 4th down and 1, and, you know, you don't pick it up, I think it's easy to kind of look at the quarterback not being on the center and go, man, come on, man, that's that new age offense. And I understand you possibly could do a sneak. But, being in shotgun, it allows for the defense to be able to see the mesh point, see the ball go into the belly of the running back. And if you're the quarterback, you can pull it. And then it allows the running back to be able to have some vision too, have a little bit of time, a little split second to be able to let the blocks take place and form so he can hit the hole. At the end of the day, man, you can be smash mouth under the center or in shotgun. It's about the mentality of your offensive line and their style of play. But I understand when you're down there, it's 4th down and 1 or you're down the goal line. Everyone kind of grunts a little bit when you see a quarterback not be under center and go shotgun. But I just think it depends on the situation. If it's a passive play, not like a pass play, but a passive play instead of an aggressive downhill run or play, that's where I have a problem when you're in shotgun rather than under center. So, no, it doesn't bother me. Everyone's in shotgun. Mm-hmm. Everyone is.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you. Walker Merrill is polished.
Yes.
I mean,
we knew that when we had him on last summer.
Mm-hmm.
We had him on in the thick of quarantine back when I was still doing the show from my dining room table in church. And Walker spoke about how polished he was as a – he didn't say it himself, but based off of kind of what he was saying, how much work he puts in, who he works with, and who Swain has talked to, and what Swain has seen from him on social media. And then obviously now fast forward to what Swain has been able to see at practice. And I don't pretend to know near as much about how to run routes as Swain does, but he just looks like he knows what he is doing. Like I can go out there and I can see those who maybe lack on the route running and a little slow to do things. But Walker Merrill he's just one of those guys who looks like he has it. We talk about the it factor. It seems like Walker Merrill has the it factor.
You line up against him at corner and you see that he's white and you might go, oh, man, he ain't not athletic. He will jump over your face to catch a ball. He will moss you. Crazy vert. He's athletic. He's explosive.
That's why I wanted to talk about. How's he getting off a press in practice? Have we seen that part of him yet? Because I know he's got the athletic ability. He's got the ups. He's got great hands.
He hasn't been jammed, to the sideline or anything. And as a freshman, you're always gonna, learn how to get off press, better as time goes by. That's probably the one part, that and blocking in the running game and having an understanding of angles and things like that. Blocking and press is probably the biggest hurdle for a young receiver, but Walker's going to be fine because he has a foot quickness. It's just understanding that you can take your time depending on the play. You have an understanding of the play. You know that you're not the first option on the play. You know you got a little bit more time to work at the line of scrimmage and get that release. So he's going to get better once he get more comfortable in the offense, and he adds more tools to his toolbox. Different techniques and things like that, moves to use. But Walker Merrill, man. National Playmakers Academy, MP there in Nashville. When you are part of a group like that and there's so much competition every single day and you work against these guys every single day, you're going to come in and you're going to be polished. We've seen receivers come in where they play running back and DB in high school and did everything. And Walker played receiver, man. That's what he did. He played receiver. So he comes in and he's a little bit ahead of everybody else. Kind of like what I did. Like I played receiver. That's it. So I was more polished than a guy like a Brett Smith who played quarterback for his high school too. More polished than Robert Meacham who played, running back and did a little bit of everything. Didn't just play receiver. Walker Merrill's a guy that did that. So he's going to be polished. And he's a really good candidate for, breakout freshman. He's a really good one too.
He would probably, if I had, again, I don't think that there will be one, but if I had to pick who I would most likely think it would be, Jalen Wright would probably be my number one pick. Walker Merrill would be my number two, right behind him.
Gotcha.
And I don't know how much of an impact Walker Merrill will have as a freshman, but I can tell you that he will have, I'm 1,000% confident in saying that he will have an impact on Tennessee's offense over the course of his career. He is going to be a good football player for Tennessee.
Yeah, some freshmen come in based on, their experiences in high school, based on their preparation leading up to their, I guess, their them coming onto the program. Some guys can embrace the new changes. Some guys, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant. It's so much because they were not prepared. Their high school did not prepare them. Maybe in the weight room, you didn't have to lift weights. At your high school, didn't have to lift weights. You didn't have a weight room. You had a regular weight room, and so you didn't really have to lift weights that much. So you come into a college football program and you lift the weights every single day. It's just different. You take a guy that maybe wrestled in high school and they had a really good weight room. He comes in, man. He's probably more advanced than the lineman that's big but a little bit weaker. You take a guy like Walker Merrill who is in that National Playmakers Academy. He's used to doing one-on-ones all day, every day. So he's able to get off press a little bit easier because he's had more work at it, more reps. He's done the 7-on-7s. He's done the camps and the combines and things like that, the showcases. He's done those things. So it just really depends on the players, I think, background and where he came in from, depending on how fast he bursts on the scene. So Walker Merrill's certainly a candidate to do that. All right, let's go back to the phones. Who we got?
Ben. For real, we have Ben.
You butt dial the show, man?
I did not.
The real Ben?
The better Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, guys.
What's up?
Hey, guys. Good stuff this morning. So I'm one call too late, I think. I was going to talk about Walker Merrill because I think because of the position he plays in what looks to be a pass-happy offense and a lot of motion, even if he can't get off press, they could put him in motion if he shows to be a playmaker. To hear his teammates talk about him, he's also able to run crisp routes and do all the things you're supposed to do. So to pick a different name, I think just because of the need is so great at linebacker, I think Aaron Willis gets his head right. I think he's going to make an impact and have a lot of opportunity to have his name be heard a lot.
Yeah, I think he may be in their main by default. Right. It's not, and I think this time is really hurting him. This is the reason why you want to be a midterm guy. To get a jump on just being a student athlete. But he's out because of the incident. But he's still here. I mean, he's still here. So
right.
it is better than coming in July or coming in June. But he is missing some valuable reps. But he is, being able to watch some film, things like that. I don't know if it's with the team or what, but
no,
I don't know.
It's not.
I don't know if he has access to the film, which I don't see why he shouldn't.
I believe when they're suspended indefinitely, they can't have anything to do with the team at all.
Well, you can watch film at home because you have access to the portal. So I mean, it's better than him being at the house right now.
Yes.
So depending on, and he was a highly rated player, really good player coming out of Virginia, but depending on how he handles the summer and the fall, he could be a guy just by default that jumps in there and plays and makes an impact.
Yeah, well, the other player that I would add to that, for similar reasons, Byron Young. He won't have a lot of bad habits as other people have, and as Rocker said earlier, Garner said earlier, you guys were talking about the attack mode. If all he's going to do is pin his ears back and get after the quarterback and put pressure, it's a whole lot easier for an incoming freshman to just use his God-given skill set and take the technique and the coaching and get after that. So that's my thoughts this morning, guys. I appreciate you taking my call. Good stuff.
Hey, thank you.
And Byron Young, granted, he's not a freshman. He's a sophomore. He played 1 year at junior college, so he doesn't necessarily apply to the parameters of the current conversation.
Breakout,
but we're talking about breakout freshmen. He's not a freshman. So if we want to say breakout newcomers or breakout in general, then he applies to that conversation. But we're talking about true freshmen.
What is he listed as?
I believe he's a sophomore. I know he's not a true freshman because he's played junior college. I know that for a fact. I believe he's listed as a sophomore. But I thought it was very interesting that Rodney Garner was asked about standouts. He mentioned one player, and it was Byron Young, said that BY has definitely continued to improve and get better. He takes coaching. He works on the little things that we point out in the film sessions. Right now, he is a guy that is trending upwards. There are several guys that are working, and they are pointing in the right direction. And then he was asked kind of later on about the leadership on the defensive line. He said Matthew Butler. He wants to be a leader. He is a coach pleaser. Jaquan Blakely, another guy that is an older guy that wants to go out and change the narrative of what his career has been like. And then he brought up Byron Young again. He brought up Byron Young a second time, saying that you can just see him hang on to every single thing that you say. He takes it from the film room to the field and tries to correct it. They're all working hard, and it's a process. So I do think Byron Young will have a breakout season. I absolutely do. I think he'll start at one of the pass rushing positions, whether you want to label him as an outside backer, defensive end, or whatever. The recruiting sites labeled him as an outside linebacker coming out of, I believe it was Georgia Military College, if I remember correctly. But he's been working more so with Rodney Garner, the defensive line. So defensive end, outside linebacker, pass rusher in general. I do think Byron Young will have a breakout season. To me, he fits it. He fits the description of a breakout season.
Yeah, Georgia Military College, and he's listed as a junior. So no, we wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him in there. But if he was a guy that, you know, was only 1 year in JUCO, something like that, and it was a crazy year with COVID. Didn't really do much in JUCO. I would probably lump him in the same category as a freshman. But junior, nah. He's been through some experiences that gives him a little bit of more of an advantage over a true freshman.
So a guy like Anderson Kobe, who is listed as a sophomore, he kind of fits more that.
I would lean towards lumping him in with freshmen because again, you're still new. Like you're new, and JUCO, man, you don't have those resources. You're there for a reason. But no, not as a junior. I wouldn't lump him in with that.
If you want to expand the conversation to all newcomers, Byron Young's top of my list for breakout season. Breakout newcomer, for me, it's Byron Young. I think he is the newcomer that will have the biggest experience. Or the biggest experience, the biggest impact on the team.
Certainly a need for him. Need somebody to get after the quarterback. Need someone that some defense players to step up. That's where Tennessee is going to be a little bit short.
Just a little bit.
A little bit short. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me hit the text box this morning.
A lot of good comments on the text box right now.
Nelson says the forgotten man came in Marley. I think he will impact somewhere. He's so athletic. Yeah, we mentioned Marley. We just didn't mention him as much as Wright because he's not here. And so my whole thing about Wright is that he's here, and I give those guys a huge advantage because they basically get a whole semester ahead of everybody else. But we did mention Cayman Marley coming in, very, very athletic, played multiple positions. I remember when he committed, made the visit to Tennessee kind of during COVID on his own. And I think that the players, the coaches had to virtually talk to him as he walked around campus. He came on his own with his coach. I do remember that. But Jay Graham brought him in from the Carolina area.
In high school, he's played quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, free safety, strong safety.
Options, man. Options. I made this point a little bit earlier, but I'll reiterate. We've seen this before. We've seen this under Butch Jones. We've seen this under Jeremy Pruitt. Don't really remember seeing it much under Derek Dooley. But Josh Heupel in his first season, you're going to have to play some freshmen because you want to market yourself as somewhere where freshmen can come in and play. That's what you have right now. You can't market. You're going to come here and compete for championships immediately. Can't market that. You can't market, hey, we put all these guys in the league. You can mention Trey Smith and you can mention Josh Palmer, but the moment you mention that, there's another school around the corner that can mention that they've done the same thing or if not more. The one selling point that you have that you can use over other schools, which is what Pruitt and what Butch Jones was able to do, was, hey, you're going to come in and you're going to play early. Yeah, you may go somewhere else and win more, but you're not going to be playing. You can play now. You don't have to wait your turn. You can play now. So I think at the end of the day, there will be some freshmen that's going to break out, and we will be able to have this conversation later in the fall, maybe midway or at the end of the season. about, man, these freshmen really did this and did that and this play and that game. Because if you're Heupel, you're going to have to show these high school players that they can come in and play. You got to give them evidence. So you're going to have to play some freshmen, maybe even if you don't want to, maybe if a guy is a little bit older, but the gap is not that far off. You have to play freshmen because that's your selling point in recruiting, playing time. Anytime you have a new coach, man, that's your selling point.
Yep. Tennessee's got to find a way to get these investigation wrapped up. That is really hurting Tennessee right now.
Just
the uncertainty of the punishment and how that could potentially affect each individual recruit is weighing on the recruits.
What do you think? Summertime?
ASAP. I don't know when, but ASAP.
Yeah, we all wanted ASAP, but like, when do you think?
It'll be before the season.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when the NCAA will hand down its punishment. That could who the heck knows? But I think before the season, at some point over the summer, Tennessee comes out and announces a self-imposed bowl ban and
that's how it starts.
Restrictions, and then the NCAA will come in 6 months to a year later and determine whether that was enough or not. And I don't know. I'm obviously not working in the NCAA.
I think they'll get a quick answer on that. I think they'll get a quick answer on if they accept it or not.
I hope so. I'll believe it when I see it. Just kind of following other schools like Memphis and Oklahoma State who have been waiting for a while now. North Carolina had to wait for a while. Kansas is still waiting. Auburn was waiting for a while, still waiting to see if they're.
That's basketball. That's basketball,
still
and they're not. Well, we know the NCAA treats basketball programs who are not blue bloods differently than football programs who are considered blue bloods.
That's fair. I mean, we'll see. But I was going to say that I think all that Tennessee has done and will do will be suffice. I think firing Jeremy Pruitt, finding a new athletic director, firing all the people within the football office and assistant coaches, and then self-imposed bowl ban. I'm sure there will be self-imposed recruiting, whatever. They'll take away some visits, and I don't know if they'll do scholarships, but I think what
definitely doing scholarships.
Yeah.
You think Tennessee will do that to themselves?
Yeah. Yep.
If you don't do it to yourself, NCAA will do it to you.
Yeah, they'll try to say like 2 or 3, and the NCAA come back with 5.
I think scholarship. I think there's going to be a scholarship reduction.
I think the NCAA. I think there will be 2, but I wonder if like Tennessee will be willing to go that steep with their self-imposement.
You have to, man. If you can go 1 or 2 over 3 years, or 1 or 2 over 4 or 5 years, that'd be the way to do it. But what Pruitt was doing and allowing what was going on, I'll be surprised if scholarships won't be reduced.
I would be too.
Like it's going to happen.
But I think everything that they will self-impose, and on top of the actions that they took when they fired everybody, I think that will be sufficient enough by the time the NCAA comes back. I would be surprised if the NCAA came back and we're going to punish you in this way as well.
Well, I hope so. Nate the Great, and you ain't right. You ain't right. Daytona said that. What did he say, that the good Lord made him this way?
Yeah.
Nate the Great says Daytona need to ask God for a refund.
Well, then what's
goodness gracious?
And then Daytona called back in.
Did he?
When Stan was speaking, and Daytona last week informed us that he is going to Turks and Caicos here in a couple of weeks, and so he heard Justin talking about being in Turks and Caicos and called in and said, "Hey, can you get me connected with Justin? I want to ask him some questions about Turks and Caicos." And I said, "Daytona, you know that's the guy that you owe $100 to." He's like, "Oh, is it?
Never mind, I'll Google it."
Oh, is it? Well, can you still give me his contact information?
I set up a payment plan. Layaway.
$10 a month.
Drew in Birmingham says, who said Jalen Wright needs a ton of carries to break out on offense? What if he busts a few house call TD runs with his speed? Hey.
That would qualify.
Hey, man, hey.
I just don't see that happening.
Man, you break out one of those runs against one of the SEC teams early in the game, and that's the reason why Tennessee was able to get up on a team and kind of stay on the team and stay on top and pull off an upset. I mean, hey, that's significant. Like I look more at some of the smaller details, some of the small things that add up, probably more than other folks. Hour 3 coming up.